Good morning. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Hello. Thank you, everyone, for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. I'm glad to see everyone that's able to join me here during the live. Oh, that is Angel Massey. I have cut her husband's head off. Let me see if I can find something else. Hopefully. Now, I'll just put the boats behind me for now because they are on a trip. They're on a trip to Nevis or Nevis. Mama B says Grand Rising to Sandra P, chat, and mods. Thank you so much, Mama Bees. I'm glad to see you here. Happy Monday to everyone. Great start to everyone's week. A wonderful, wonderful day and week to everyone that joined Sandra P's Gen Extra during the live. And then also Team Replay. You know, I love Team Replay. I appreciate you. I'd like you to share, comment, subscribe, and that means so much to me. I'm just going to run a quick banner related to Copyright Act of 1976, Section 107, that I'm allowed to speak on this for purposes of fair use, criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And everybody, we are here for Real Housewives of Potomac. We're in season 6. This is episode 4. Episode 4, y'all. I'm proud of these ladies. They actually have made it out of the country. Giselle's sponsoring the trip. They're on the island of Nevis. But we start out doing Preakness. Okay, so we'll go back to a Preakness. This is where we start out, where we left off. And let me make sure I can see myself. Yes, I can. Okay, everything's looking good. All right, we're going to start out where we left off. We have Ashley is still telling Stacey that she went too far with the comments as far as with Jazzy and her friend, who was she? Angel and Stacey. As far as there's being a physical altercation, but Ashley should not have the leeway to even do that, because the way they should shut that down is by saying, well, Ashley, didn't you bring the girl? Didn't you bring Sesame Street? And she was trying to attack Candace, and that's how Kiana got hurt. So anytime Ashley fixed her bobblehead lips to say anything about that situation, bring up, yes, you and Giselle were having an event to launch your G&A product, but you brought people there to actually fight one of your co-workers, castmates, frenemy. Because Karen said that at the time. She says, listen, we cannot have somebody bringing someone in to attack others of us. So the Grand Dame is not here, but I will always recall what she said. And she was right about it. And that's what Ashley did. So y'all don't let Ashley tell you anything about, oh, that's going too far. No one has gone as far as Darby. She's married to a whole predator. He was feeling on the cameraman. Not just allegedly, in my opinion. He sued. He sued a cast member. He sued Candace over that. And it was thrown out because Candace was not lying on him. We saw footage of a person saying, hey, stop that. Paula, thank you so much for making a live. It's good to see you. She says good morning to everyone. Welcome in, Soundcheck Annette. Thank you for coming in during the live. Grand Rising, Sandra P, mods, chat. She's sending us love with green hearts. Thank you so much. So we're still at Preakness, y'all. Then we have Ashley have the nerve to turn herself, her no storyline having self, except trying to stir things up amongst the newbies. She'll turn at Tia. Now, Tia, I didn't know what to make of Tia, but Tia knows how to back Ashley off her. She wants to know, Tia, Ashley is telling Tia, now, Tia, I heard that you said that I was rude because I invited Wendy and Giselle for a fun shopping event. Now, Ashley, it's not rude that you invite Wendy and Giselle. You've known them longer, but there are new people in the group, and you invited the two that you already know in front of other people. So that's what Tia was saying to her. Generally, it's good manners to not invite someone to an event that the others are not invited to, or whatever Tia said. Y'all know Tia, she's Nigerian royalty. If you didn't know, she'll tell you. And she has a British accent, which I love. So Ashley's trying to say something, and Tia says, what are you struggling with? I loved it. She cracked Ashley's face. All Ashley could do was mock her accent. I'm not struggling with anything. But Ashley was clearly struggling. She said, keep up. She told Ashley to keep up, y'all. So Ashley backed all the way down. There was nothing she could do with Tia at that table. So we get a confessional of Stacey saying, Kay hates me. She said, I could be breathing. I'm standing here breathing. And Kay is saying, why are you breathing like that? Kierna, we are getting that vibe from you. I don't know what there is about Stacey to hate. Does she lie? Yes, most of the ladies do. Can she be a little bit silly? Yes, most of the ladies can be. Stacy doesn't appear to have bad intentions or hurt anyone. So the energy from Kierna is kind of strange. Kierna wants the girls to dance for the $20. Now, Ashley Bobblehead Darby, we're hearing that even though her settlement wasn't the greatest, she got a little piece of change from the crypt keeper, Michael Darby. So Ashley has hired a stylist. She's doing a little bit better. She wants to know from Kierna, are you going to share the money Greg gave you with us? Kierna says, absolutely not. Then she says they're going to dance for the money. Stacy's doing some kind of little, I don't know what that is, Stacy. Stacy moves her head more than her booty. Y'all help Stacy. Stacy's from Detroit, but she's married to a German. No commentary. I'm just making a statement of fact right there. So Kierna says she'll give all the girls $20. Kierna, that's cheap. She's going to give everybody $20 to bet with. And she asked Stacy for change. Yeah, Stacy, you didn't deserve 20. Jazzy walks in. The beautiful Jazzy from last season. Come through, Jazzy. She looked like she had a friend with her. But everybody was just hugging her, cheek kissing her. Glad to see Jazzy. Angel says, oh, a fellow wag. That's wives and girlfriend. Now, Angel, I saw the energy. Angel was glad to see Jazzy. Everybody was. So Giselle's telling us, I invited Jazzy because she's a good time. She's this, she's that. No, Giselle, you invited Jazzy because you found out that Kay and Angel might not like her. Not Angel so much, but because Kierna may have a thing against Jazzy. Angel, for some reason, is trying to take up Kay's battles. Wrong road, Angel. Please don't do that. Because I don't know if Kay is here for a long time. I think she's just here for a good time. Y'all know what I think. I think she's here because after Sesame Street hit her and left that permanent scar, they didn't want her to sue Bravo. This is her sophomore season. They couldn't fire her after the first season. So she is really trying to show herself a real housewife and jump into all of the mix. But y'all, I don't know. I don't know if she's going to make it. And I like Kierna, but I just don't like all this extra she's doing. So Angel asks about Darius because they mentioned wives and girlfriends of, it's any sport. It can be the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, whatever. But for these two ladies, it's NFL. What did Darius play? He played something. I can't remember. And then Angel answers in response. She said, oh, my husband was a 10-year starter. Here's Wendy. Whoop. She got these little theater glasses. Whoop. Dr. Wendy, you are being messy. I'm trying to show Dr. Wendy grace because she got these other people all over her about these insurance charges, which we don't know now, but you can't watch the show and not mention it. So these people saying, I'm the show only. I'm not going to talk about. I don't know how you watch this show and not know what's going on in real life. I just don't. So Wendy's whoop. Wendy's overtime trying to cause problems. So then Ashley is, Ashley asked Kay, is everything okay with you and Jazzy? Because your body language changed when you came in the room. Y'all stop doing that. She could have just had anything happen to her at the moment, any kind of thought. You can't read it to someone else entering the room. Now, for me, what I looked at, Kay had kind of a stern face when Jazzy came in and everybody greeted her. I didn't see that on Angel. I'm sorry, but Ashley says that. So then it's being said that I got word that Stacey and Jazzy had an issue. That might have been Ashley or Giselle. Because at this point, the OGs and the veterans are here to kind of stir up mess between the newbies. And I want the newbies, the rookies, Kay in her sophomore season. Y'all, do you see this play? Don't fight each other. Get on Giselle. Get on Dr. Wendy. Get on Ashley. Dr. Wendy's a little harder because she has a lot of words that Kay and Dr. Wendy are not a fair fight. So Kay, don't you get on Dr. Wendy, but you can certainly go back and forth with Giselle and Ashley. Why are y'all fighting each other? I saw the play week 2. So here's Wendy, even though she's one of the ones that started it. She says, y'all, give it a second because Kay and Jazzy are getting ready to get into it. Jazzy's no punk. She said, give it a second. Dwan Moore is coming over here. This is Governor Moore's wife, who invited Wendy but won't appear on camera. I know that's right, lady. You need to play the lottery. Because if you have been on camera with Dr. Wendy and these innocent till proven guilty, but all these charges, it wouldn't have looked good. And Governor Westmore's name rings bells higher than just the office of governor, okay? So his wife can't be seen in the middle of any shenanigans. Bravo actually has to block this lady out. Come on, not sign the release. Thank you so much. Had to block her out and say Governor Westmore's wife, or either they said Dwan Moore, that she wouldn't appear on camera. So we get Jazzy in a confession, not Jazzy, Kierna in a confessional. Kierna's a trip. Wendy made a big deal about the first lady inviting her to Preakness and for the Black-Eyed Susans. But look at this. We only saw her like 2 minutes. Jazzy, I think it was less than that. I think it was about a minute. So I thought that was funny. Then we get Kierna confronting Jazzy. She says, she didn't say she didn't like her, but she's hearing some stuff that Jazzy may not like her. Jazzy, y'all, Jazzy said, I know you're going through a lot of stuff with Greg. Y'all remember Jazzy was on the reunion stage when Kierna's crying about Greg doesn't respect her. He don't treat her right, this, that, and the other. Here go Wendy again. Whoop. Wendy, we're going to have a lot of whoop if you let these people film you once we get to what's going on in real time, okay? Everyone's coming in, speaking to each other. Thank you so much for doing that. Soundcheck Connect, Paula, Mama 59 Works, one of my moderators, my sister. Good morning, P and chat. Everyone's speaking. Thank you so much. So they already got it started at this so-called high class event. It's not really, because we know once the housewives show up, it could go a different direction. And what I put in my notes, don't respond to these ladies' reactions, because Wendy with that whoop, it kind of makes people feel like, well, should I be offended at that when you weren't? Because now they're going to circle around to Angel. Well, Angel, here's Wendy. Angel, when Jazzy came in, you made a point of, Stacey and I noticed you and made a point of saying that your husband was a starter. Angel's like, I made a statement of fact. My husband was a starter. He started 10 years with the Denver Broncos. Full stop. You can't take that away from Bobby. He started 10 years with the Denver Broncos. Now, Darius, the fiance of Jazzy, not so much. I don't call him a bench warmer, but some people are calling him a bench warmer, okay? So they go back and forth a little bit. Tia asks, is she coming on holiday with us? Because Tia, remember, she's one of the newer housewives, and she sees that this is not going to be good. Giselle says she hadn't decided yet. We're going to put a pin in that because Giselle's lying. As soon as she saw all this jump off, she knew Jazzy was going. She hadn't invited her yet, but she's going to claim later, oh, Jazzy, she's my little friend. And then invite her. You would have invited her all along, Giselle. When you saw this drama going, now you want to invite her. So Angel is saying she's looking forward to the trip. She's going to miss her kids. She's going to miss her husband. We see that beautiful little baby walking through the kitchen and her fine husband, Bobby, giving his little baby a little hug. And Wendy says, we're going to turn up for you. And Tia said, I'll be there for you. Because Angel's expressing a little bit of trepidation about kind of her first girls trip since she's been a mommy. So they all get to the airport. Y'all, I love these travel scenes. They are showing up to Atlanta Hartsfield International Airport. If you don't recognize it, they get to wait in a lounge. And Angel is telling everybody. And she said this morning one time during the episode, I want to get to know everyone on a different level. And I can understand that because she came in as Kierna's friend. Now, Kierna is only in her sophomore season. She's in season 2. It's okay to bring in a friend, but if your ground is shaky, I think the friend needs to get to know everyone on her own accord. So that would just be smart of Angel. So Confessional Stacey is telling us, well, I reached out to Angel and my reception was kind of lukewarm. I hope it's not because Kierna doesn't like me. See, there we go. That's why I told Angel wrong road. She can't take on Kierna's battles. You have to, or you should, take up for your friend when they're right. But this blind loyalty, that doesn't work. So they fly, they get there, they're waiting in a lounge. Y'all, I like how they did this. This was fly. Well, the first thing that happened, it was kind of funny. You know how when you're in the Caribbean, certain planes, they open up the aft and the front and they let the people come down the steps. So they're doing that. Giselle and the group are already in the van. Everyone's waiting. Jazzy hasn't gotten off the plane yet. Y'all, Jazzy is in coach. I guess everyone else was upgraded. Now, I hear different things about the cash trips. Production pays for a bulk of the trips. If you want upgrades or anything like that, it's up to the host. The host is Giselle. It looks like Jazzy was invited last minute, so she's in something like 31B. So it takes her a good 25 minutes to a half hour to get off the plane. So the ladies are waiting. Giselle finally gets out on the tarmac, kind of looking. She was beautiful in white, y'all. I don't really travel in white like that, but it looked really cool. It was pretty. It was all white. So they say, here she comes. Jazzy comes down with her little, she must have been asleep. She had her little eye covers on. And Stacey said, I thought she was going to save that for the hotel. No, some people fly with them. I do. So they get to a lounge once all the party is together. The ladies are just having conversation. The agent said, we got you all cleared through security, but Miss Massey will have an issue with you. Angel's like, what's the issue with me? And Angel said something about there's some kind of juju on me. Don't claim that, Angel. There's no juju on you. You getting your feet up under you, okay? Y'all know I had to take Angel under my wing because I see something going against her that I don't love. Some of it is her own doing, but some of it is these veterans and people that have been there and OGs kind of firing at the newer people. Some of it is that. So the agent tells her there's no camouflage material. Production helpfully shows us Angel's beautiful Prada luggage, but y'all, it is a camouflage print. If you've ever traveled at all, anywhere in the Caribbean, even if you've been on a cruise ship, at certain stops, they will tell you, we don't allow anyone to wear camouflage, even children. So we get Ashley Bobblehead Darby in a confessional. Why didn't you know this? You got to read when you travel. I agree with you, Ashley, but you're doing a lot. And then she called the lady a B. Come on, B. You're not friends like that. Don't call this lady out of her name. Ashley is so silly. So then they still start to have conversation. They're going to clear this issue up with Tia has a suitcase that has a lot of room in it. So she can't bring the camouflage onto the island. I don't know if they send it home or what. But she can't bring it onto the island. Tia's going to allow her to use some of this empty space. Problem solved. So they're going back to whether or not... they put something down on the table that was some kind of... It was a charcuterie board, but it had some type of balls on it or something. It wouldn't be Real Housewives if somebody didn't get a little bit vulgar. Wendy wants to know from Stacy, does she suck balls or like to eat balls or something like that? Excuse me, y'all. I know it's only 9:30 in the morning, and we try to be PG over here, but that's Dr. Wendy talking crazy. So Stacy's like, should I be doing that? Stacy, you should have told her to mind her business, because that y'all are not cool like that. And what kind of conversation is this, Dr. Wendy? And then in a confessional, Stacy's saying, Dr. Wendy, what are you doing? She said, you're supposed to be an intellect, something she called her. So they clear customs. Tia gives Angel part of her bag. Ashley claims, I'm so glad to be here after we've had this event at Kay's house. Here go Ashley, starting with the mess. Now, they are already on a yacht that's going to take them over to the other island. Remember, they flew into St. Kitts, which is kind of a sister island to Nevis. But you have to take boat transportation, yacht transportation to Nevis. They don't have an international airport. Sound checking that is laughing. Yeah, these ladies are a trip already. The trip looks like fun, but they doing a lot. So then we get Giselle calls out, Jazzy, we're so glad you're here, but there were a couple of people that didn't want you to come. I didn't like that. Giselle, why are you trying to make Jazzy and Angel and Kay uncomfortable? Because Giselle also tells us, in addition to inviting Jazzy just because they want to be with her, this is kind of like a shower type bachelorette party for her. Giselle, I think you just pulled that out of your bottom, because I don't think you plan to do any of this for Keanu. Also, it's Wendy's birthday. Wendy's birthday was either a day before or day after, something like that. It's a big step up, Dr. Wendy. Wendy was in Charlotte on her birthday last year. It was very basic. Angel says, I don't remember saying I didn't want Jazzy to come. Giselle refreshes her memory. Yeah, you said bring Sharice instead. Angel is saying, it was only because I kind of met Sharice. I already know her a little bit. Production shows us Sharice and Angel meeting and them saying, oh, we have people in common, and kind of talking to each other a little bit. So I can understand that. So they're trying to press her a little bit. And Giselle and Ashley talking about they're going to get to the bottom of it. The bottom of what? I think they're making issues where there's none. So Kay says she didn't want Jazzy to come because she feel like she fake and phony. And Jazzy says, oh, she says, if I'm fake and I'm phony, say what you said about Wendy. Here go Wendy catching strays. Dr. Wendy, they don't really like you. They don't. I don't care if you're best dressed. I don't care about any of that. Y'all notice how when Wendy's gestures, they show all her rings. Bravo doesn't even like Dr. Wendy. This is allegedly, and in my opinion. So I have a note to the freshmen and the sophomores. Stop letting Giselle, Wendy, and Ashley set y'all up to fight each other. Let them fight each other. They're the ones fighting for their paycheck. So then Wendy tries to clarify the time frame of when Jazzy might have been talking about her. And then she tells us, Jazzy might be projecting on me. She might be the bad friend if she's talking about me after everything is supposed to be okay. Because at one point they were fine. And then Jazzy's telling us that Wendy started treating her kind of standoffish, which honestly, y'all, I see that in Dr. Wendy. I like Dr. Wendy, but I see how she can do that. And then Wendy brings up, and there's another thing. I want to know, why would Angel bring up that Bobby is a starter? Here go Dr. Wendy. Angel says, I was asked. They show the conversation We don't see her being asked, but I think it was just the way production edited it, because it didn't make sense the way she jumped up and said, like, Bobby was a starter. No, she was like, hey, come on, come through, wives and girlfriend or something. She was glad to see Jazzy. And to me, they had a good energy. Wendy was the one to go, whoop. And then she started looking with the little theater glasses, and her and Stacy are doing that. Jazzy's like, I'm going to take those glasses and throw them in the ocean, because Wendy is clearly starting something. So then we see a preview of Ashley bobblehead Darby saying, oh, one of my homegirls know that a person reached out to somebody that we all know. And then Wendy's like, ah. So y'all, this is Chris Samuel's conversations getting ready to come up. We come back, and as they approach the Four Seasons, y'all, that water, it is so beautiful. In the yacht, they're all inside the yacht having these little messy conversations. But as they approach the island, they all get out and go to the front of the yacht and kind of stand on it. Y'all, I was blessed enough to have this same experience earlier in the year. During election time in January, I was in St. Thomas. And one of our girls' day's trip, we were able to sail on a yacht from St. Thomas to St. John. And the approach, the water, all of that is just beautiful. So as they approach, Wendy says, oh, this is very White Lotus. Gertie on Real Houses of Miami said the same thing. So this is the new reference. Stacy says that, she said, Arabella and I have stayed at this resort before. So we know Stacy gets to travel. She's married to, her husband's a German. I think he's an executive with one of these auto companies. I heard that Marie down in Bell Collective, she had a German that she was supposedly dating. But there are Germans out here, y'all. There's a huge BMW plant in South Carolina, and they have a lot of executives that work there too. So now Giselle wants to talk about Tia and Angel. This is silly. This is a preview that's going all around. She's like, I've been seeing a lot of pictures, a lot of group pictures of the girls. I recognize Tia. Angel, I don't really recognize your picture. Dr. Wendy starts cackling, y'all. It was really kind of unnerving. Dr. Wendy, why are you laughing like that? I didn't like where Giselle was going with this. So then we get Ashley. She's got a little stupid baby curl on her head in a confessional saying, Harpo, who this woman? Ashley, that false flag. Shut up. So they go back and forth about this conversation. Angel was really uncomfortable. Now, y'all know I did a Sandra P's Gen Extra where we talked about, I didn't like Giselle making fun of, I don't know what's going on with Angel's today's. And now she's trying to make fun of Angel appearance or filters. And then she finally said, Angel says, well, no, that's super duper me. That picture you're talking about wasn't even filtered. It was taken some time ago. That can happen too. People post old pictures. We know Tia steps up and says, she just had a 19-month-old, Giselle. So thank you, Tia, for saying that, because her size does fluctuate. She is a breastfeeding mom. I just don't like where Giselle was going with that. And then Giselle finally says, I'm a filter girl myself. Dr. Wendy's the queen of filters. So what are y'all talking about? And then Ashley was still there trying to say little stuff. I need Angel to get on her game, because Tia backed them off her a couple of times. I need Angel to do that. So they get there to Nevis. The house manager, is showing them around. There's 3 villas. Ashley, of course, is staying with Giselle because Giselle needs her backup. They had Tia in kind of like a nanny suite on the property. I think they know that Tia is the one that's more than likely able to go toe-to-toe with them, so they might want to put her under their wing. They put Kierna and Angel together because those two are friends, and probably because they just want to keep this thing where Angel's only close to Kierna. And then we see a confessional with Wendy saying, oh, yeah, look, I can tell that Giselle, that's kind of coded for her to put Tia in a nanny suites because she's British. I don't really know the relation that Dr. Wendy was making to that. What did that mean, Dr. Wendy? So Stacy and Wendy get a room together. I think Wendy wanted to be in there with Giselle. I think Wendy was a little upset she couldn't be in there with Giselle. Welcome in, Angela. Is this the same? Oh, this is Angela A., my moderator. Good to see you. She's speaking to myself in the chat. Hello. So there's the 3 villas. All the ladies are staying in different places. Kay and Angela are together. Giselle has put together a pretty nice note for each of the ladies. Welcome them to the trip. Just different things about the ladies. She's given them monogrammed robes. Y'all, we get in the room with Stacy. Stacy has a blank piece of paper, so no notes. And also her robe is not monogrammed. Giselle, you're not going to beat these tacky allegations. I didn't like that. I don't even know what Giselle might have against Stacy, but I didn't really like that. So in a confessional, Giselle talking about, we don't know who Stacy is. After the last reunion, I don't know who this garden tool is. Why are you calling Stacy out of her name? You know, Stacy don't like that whole stuff. Okay, she doesn't know Giselle like that. And Giselle, as Kiki from Miami would say, you are too old to be talking like this. Don't do that. So confessional, Stacy, I like what Stacy said. She said, it takes a lot for you not to think about me, Giselle, for you to get everybody else's robe monogram, for you to have a note for everybody else, and to purposely single me out to not do it. I see you, Giselle. So I appreciate Giselle doing that. Dr. Wendy in a confessional, y'all, she was the most disappointing. She says, I've been at the receiving end of Giselle's dark energy, but it ain't me. It ain't me, so I'm okay. Well, Dr. Wendy, that's tacky. That's really tacky. It's not you, so you'll let this lady line somebody else to be attacked. Because you know they got to pick someone that they're going to harass. Kiwan J, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you for coming in during the live. I appreciate it. Shayna McD, you're not watching Potomac anymore, but here to support. I appreciate your support. I thought they were going to do better, Shayna McD, but they are dark again. They really are. I don't love it. And it's Giselle Bryant, as you would know. She's already picking on the new ladies. So she's getting ready to get strike 3 with Angel. She's already did something last week. She was making fun of Angel's breasts. We know Angel's a breastfeeding mother. Then she tried to pretend that she was telling production, scrap that. She know they're not going to scrap it when she's being messy. So it's kind of a mess. I'm watching it. It's better sometime, but it's a little disappointing. So Angel is in a confessional. She's saying that she, oh no, let me go back. Oh, that was Stacy saying that it takes a lot for Giselle not to think of her. I appreciated Stacy doing that. Dr. Wendy, I didn't like laughing off. She called it Giselle's dark energy, and then she's going to laugh it off. So then Angel tells Kierna that when she saw Dr. Wendy at the airport, Wendy didn't speak to her. So y'all doing that. There's only 7 or 8 of you on a trip, and then a new person walks in and you don't speak. So we get a confessional with Angel. She's saying she didn't see me or greet me. She said, I wouldn't treat a new girl like that. So then she's talking to Kierna. Kierna says she's going to have a good time, and she doesn't care who doesn't, and whoever doesn't have a good time, they're not to be trusted. So her and her friend Angel are just laughing. Giselle's looking for the liquor, of course. Ashley's looking for Tia. Tia's on the phone, y'all. She's on a FaceTime call with one of the twins. She's missing their 14th birthday. So confessional, well, she's not a twin. The 13-year-old, they have a 13-year-old, the 16-year-old, and they have 11-year-old twins. So it is the 14-year-old's birthday. So confessional Tia saying, it's harder on me than it was on my baby because the little girl is fine. She said that she's having her party. She's got all her friends there. This is the one that invited a bunch of people over the other week, and her sister was mad. So then the son gets on the phone with her. Mom, I'm trying to get adopted. He's upset. He said he can't stand being in the family. So I don't know what they're doing to him, but we got a taste of that last week too, where the 13-year-old and 16-year-old were kind of picking at him, calling him names and all this kind of stuff. And then we get Tia saying that Ron thinks the kids are soft. Ron is her husband because he's from the south side of Chicago. They might be a little bit spoiled, but nothing wrong with spoiling your kids. So Tia tells her son, try not to get adopted out before Sunday because I'll miss you. She's going to be back then. So dinner, they are having the catch of the day. Stacy is telling us she's a pescatarian. But then Stacy, if you're a pescatarian, you know that means the only meat you eat is fish, right? So she says, I'm going to have the catch of the day. And then Stacy had the nerve talking about, it is fish, right? Yeah, the catch of the day is generally fish. So they're laughing about that. Ashley is sitting there. She's kind of like surveying the table, finding out who she's going to pick at next. And Stacy says, well, Kay, we don't talk. So I want to ask you, are you and Greg back together? Kay says, yeah, they're back together. Giselle pipes up. I didn't know you weren't talking. I think everybody knew that Kierna she don't really like Stacy. There's some people you don't really see it for, but I don't like the way Kay kind of picks on Stacy. If you don't see it for the lady, just stay away from her. There's a big enough group of you that you can find somebody else to talk to. So then Angel wants to know what she can do to get to know the ladies. I think Ashley was the one that said something about what is all of your intentions for the group trip? And Angel says, oh, I have one. I heard Giselle mumble, oh, that was fast. It doesn't matter who goes first, Giselle. You should have piped up. It's your trip. But Ashley asked the question, and now Angel's answering. She says her intention for the trip, she wants all the ladies to get to know her, and she get to know them. So Stacy, again, is bringing up the point that can she be known without just being like a sidekick? They didn't say lapdog, thank God. Shamia, we heard enough about lapdogs with Shamia over on Atlanta to last us the rest of our life. But right now they are seeing Kay and Angel as two of a kind, which is not good. I think Angel needs to establish herself because Kiana's moving kind of funny. So Angel's now having to defend her demeanor. She says, well, I'm not the most talkative, but I am open to getting to know each and every one of the ladies. Now here's Tia. Tia's new, but she's a little bit messy too. I've never seen Wendy and Angel speak. Am I just making that up? You're not just making it up, but you shouldn't have brought it up because Angel did say that Wendy didn't speak to her. Stacy piles on. It was awkward at Kay's house. Y'all remember they went off on Angel again about her energy not being the same. So then Wendy says, Angel seems to weaponize everything I do and everything I say. I don't really see that. I don't think they've had that much interaction. Angel clarifies. She said, when Wendy brought up that question, it was kind of messy, and I was defending myself against that. And then Giselle pipes up and says, well, Angel, you don't seem to be excited to be a part of the group. Are you excited to be a part of the group? Giselle, this is the 4th episode on the ladies' first season. How excited is she supposed to be part of the group? Angel said, yeah, she's excited to be part of the group. She's just not one of those touchy-feely, talky type people. Y'all, this is a mess. Actually, I think I misplaced with a social media post. This is where Giselle actually started picking at her about the social media. And then Tia defended her. She just had a baby 19 months ago. So excuse me for that, y'all. I put that in there as if it was on the yacht trip. It wasn't. It was at dinner. So we get a confessional from Angel, kind of defending herself against what they were doing. I didn't like that about the filter. All of them filter. Angel in her confessional said, the people sitting back laughing has actually had so much work done because they were so insecure. They look like they got a permanent filter. Production cues in on Dr. Wendy. You see Dr. Wendy? See how they play with you? They don't like Dr. Wendy, and she's out here doing their dirty work. And Wendy had a whole party to showcase her new look after Karen and Giselle and Rob the Throb Dixon, made all that fun of her. I wonder if that's a big part of her debt. Y'all, she had a lot of different surgeries, allegedly, and in my opinion. Everybody's welcoming each other in. 59 Works is laughing about garden too. Yeah, it is too early. I won't be calling people hoes and stuff, but that's how they do. So I'll say garden too. And y'all know what I mean. Elisa Triplet, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in during the live. She is speaking to everyone. Now, I feel like more than Tia should have defended Angel because I don't know what Giselle has against her so far. Again, the lady just got there. It's not looking good if they all start to pile on one woman. That's what a lot of people don't like about Potomac. Shayna McD came in. She's a content creator as well as Kiwan. But she came in, she said she's not even watching it. And a lot of people don't because of that dark energy. Now, splitting up the Green-Eyed Bandits, Giselle and Robin, kind of changed things a little bit. I thought it would be a lot lighter, but Giselle's starting the same old thing. So then Giselle was just saying, I'm just saying that doesn't look like you. Here's Ashley. It doesn't look like you. Stacy asked, well, who does it look like? I'm asking that too. Stacy says, you tweak here, you tweak there. Before you know, you're all tweaked out. But she looked good, though. She looked good. Angel says, wait a minute. She started to see the game. Like all these people, Giselle came at her. Angel came at her. Wendy's over there, can't even sit still from laughing. And she's like, this isn't the Attack Me show. Angel, you got to be quicker than that. This has been the Attack You show. Giselle started on you last week because she didn't want to come at Tia. So now Wendy's saying again about Angel's energy was so different. Y'all, can we get off this? Wendy starts pointing her fingers. The way you purport yourself to be, and production is zooming in on all those rings. Wendy, Dr. Wendy, you know I like you, but you better hope this jewelry is not in the insurance documents because I don't have time to go back and look up time frames and all that. But they've been watching you since April of 2024. So now you get in a moment, you doing all this. The energy of you is not purported to be and showing all these rings. So keep it up. Keep doing it. And she says, actually, and then Kay to ask, do you even like that lady? The two of you just exposed yourself. Angel says, what is it that we were supposed to have exposed? Now Giselle wants to ask, are y'all good? Giselle, you started this whole thing. What you mean, are they good? This is why I can't hate Giselle, but I can only like her but so much because she's a trip. Wendy lies. I'm always good. She doesn't seem good. She seemed kind of pressed about Angel. So Stacy says, well, we all checked into the rooms. They all had monogrammed everything, but I didn't get a card. Giselle said Stacy wasn't supposed to get a card. Stacy says, why? Don't you know my name? You know my name. You could put it on a card. And she could have just said, welcome, Stacy. I thought the blank card was kind of out of line. And it was really, if you're the host, don't be rude to the guests. That's all. So Giselle saying something about last year, Stacy not showing up as who she's supposed to be. Stacy says, well, Giselle, you are holding people to a standard you don't live up to. You want to know everything about everyone in their relationship. And what about you? Do you have a boyfriend? Giselle says, no, she doesn't have a boyfriend. She's dating, but she doesn't have a boyfriend. Stacy says, you have a whole man. His name is Sean. He played in the NFL. And one of the ladies said, come on, Wag. I think it was Jazzy. So Giselle does have a man. And then the ladies, they start kind of making fun of Giselle. Was he bald? Was he chocolate? Why did production put up a picture of Jamal Bryant? Y'all stop doing that. Jamal Bryant is married to another woman, and she's a preacher too, so don't do that. Stacey is telling Giselle, that's not what the street says. Giselle says, what streets? Stacey says, your streets. They ask if Ashley met him. Here goes Ashley. Ashley has nothing else going on. We were at a party, and he approached her correctly, and he was wearing a Fendi jacket, and they'd been out a couple of times. So they asked Ashley about Jack Harlow. I don't know if that's the same guy from Summer House. I don't know. Some guy that didn't know how to dress appropriately for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. That same one. So in the confessional, y'all, here is Ashley Bobblehead Darby with the audacity of her daddy's side of the family. Ashley gets in a confessional and says, Stacey shouldn't be worried about who Giselle is dating. Stacey needs to worry about her own business. Now, all of this started because Giselle and Ashley, and now Dr. Wendy, worry about everybody else's business. So, Ashley, what are you talking about in this confessional? So this is just silly. So they ask if anybody has dated an NFL ball player, raise your hands. I think everybody raised their hand except Wendy, and Stacey said, oh, we don't expect that of you, Dr. Wendy. But they said, Stacey, what about you? Stacey's like, I'm checking my wet and wavy. They said, oh, that's a coincidence. You picked this time to check your wet and wavy. I guess Stacey don't want to give up her information. Plus, she's getting back together with her husband. And she doesn't owe y'all this information. So Ashley starts giving information about, he was I have information on someone that was trying to talk to someone one of my homegirls know. He used to be a former Redskin. Dr. Wendy starts screaming. She said, ah! Now, y'all have already talked about this because there's no way she would have picked it up that quick. Y'all, Wendy annoyed me most of this episode. And then she screams out, Chris Samuels? How did you come up with that? And I think, here's my theory. I think Chris Samuels, he might still have a little bee in his bonnet for his ex-wife, Monique, because we know that Monique was the one that toward the end wanted to end the marriage and did, and allegedly didn't walk away with everything she could have and should have because she was just done at that point. So Chris reaches out to various housewives or is receptive to them reaching out to him. Sometime last year, there was a story of Charisse going to lunch and people thought it was a date. Charisse, that was earlier in the show, we see her at different parties and stuff. She's supposedly kind of like the Grand Dame, but she's got real connections. She used to be married to a basketball coach. So she went out with Chris too. So now they're saying that Stacey has reached out to Chris. I don't know if that's true. So that was the end of this episode. Giselle saying, we got 4 more days to have fun and get to know each other and all this other stuff. Giselle, I hope you don't have these dinners where people are feeling awkward and attacked and all this kind of stuff. I don't like it. So let me go through and see what other comments we have. Everyone has welcomed each other in. Thank you so much. Kiwan says, period. I don't know if that's from me telling Giselle or Ashley about themselves. Kiwan, what do you think about the way they're treating these newbies, particularly Angel? Tia can protect herself. I think Angel can too, but I think she's right about her personality. She's a little more reserved. Sound check Annette. I think the rings are listed on the police report. Ooh, y'all know. I don't want to see anything kind of jail related for Dr. Wendy or Happy Eddie. I just don't. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people out there gleeful. Oh, Miss 4 Degrees and all this kind of stuff. I honestly don't care about any of that. I don't. Because we know, and I'll bring it up every time people bring up Dr. Wendy, that is a trend amongst these housewives and Bravo celebrities. Hello, Anila, in Atlanta with that big robbery you tried to accuse Eugene and Toya of. Dorit with her $1 million robbery, allegedly, and in my opinion, Kyle with her $1 million robbery, allegedly, in my opinion. So whether Dr. Wendy and Eddie did it or not, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I don't want to see anything really happen, but we have Soundcheck Annette saying she thinks the rings are listed on the police report. So y'all, we're going to come back next episode. It'll be episode 5, and they will still be on their trip to Nevis. Everything looks beautiful there, y'all. I love what Giselle did with the different villas that they're staying in. Even the way she divided it, because I knew she was going to have old messy Ashley in there with her. Wendy, you kind of played yourself. You wish you were in there with Giselle and them. Giselle don't like you, Dr. Wendy. So as far as Dr. Wendy picking, well, Kiana's picking on her, but Kiana's no match. So it's almost like Dr. Wendy is picking on somebody that can't really defend herself because Kiana just can't get it out. I want to see more from Angel, and I want to see Tia continue to back them up. Kiwan JTV says, I cussed the heifers out, but they are working on my nerve. Yeah, if y'all watch Kiwan, you will see that she does cuss them out when they deserve it, and they deserve it, especially Giselle and Ashley Bobblehead Darby. Got the nerve to tell somebody, Stacey don't need to worry about Giselle, worry about herself. What? Giselle, Ashley, and Dr. Wendy are worried about everybody else. But I hope Angel keeps her head up, keeps her head on a swivel. She can defend Kiana, but just make sure you're defending yourself as well. And don't let these veterans and OGs pit them against each other. Because honestly, they feel like they could do without the freshmen and sophomores anyway. But we needed new blood. I like Tia so far. I like Angel so far. Kiana's out of her element, y'all. I don't know. They may have just tried to avoid her suing Bravo because she did sue Sesame Street, but I think they threw that out. And allegedly, Sesame Street may not have no money. So she's over there with Oscar the Grouch and them. Sound checking that is laughing. Yes, sound checking that. She is a content creator. Go over there. She's a trip. Shauna, too. I'm trying to change my life, y'all. Don't. Somebody got to cuss them out. I don't want to. I'll call them out, but I try to keep it PG. But sometimes it is infuriating, and they deserve it. And as far as Giselle getting them confessionals, her being the oldest one there, calling people all kind of garden tools and kind of stuff, she need to be cussed out. She's fun when she's fun, but sometimes Giselle goes too far. And I feel like she stepped overbound with Angel on more than one occasion so far. And we're only on episode 4. So y'all, that was the end of that review. Thank you so much for joining me during the live team replay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the YouTube streets. Sound checking that say this, it's all right. Yeah, go over there and look at it. I think it's Kiwan J. Look for Kiwan J. When you come in here next time, sound checking that, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pin it on my the comments. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Happy Monday. Bye.